Hello, I'm Sarah Ketchum with the Newport News Police Department's Public Information Office. This is the Arrested Minds podcast, where we're having conversations about mental health. Suicide is especially concerning for first responders who are repeatedly exposed to traumatic and stressful situations. Healthy coping skills are necessary to process these experiences, but not everyone has them going into the career. Joining me to share his story today is Sergeant Pennington.
Hello.
Sergeant, I understand that when you were at your point of crisis, it wasn't just that one thing that brought you there, but a culmination of a lot of things over time. Can you speak about that?
Sure. When a particular incident were to happen, that's not the cause of you feeling stressed. I mean, the incident itself could be stressful, but that's not the cause of how you feel the way you feel. Like when you fall down that hole you just can't get out of, it's not because of that one incident. You start to realize that it goes all the way back until your first memories, really. I mean, and your childhood could be good and your home life could be good, but then it could be your teenage life, or it could be something even a little later. But you start to realize that it's not just that point. That's the straw that broke the camel's back, that one incident, but it was so many things before that.
So where did it start for you?
I would say in my childhood it started. I had a lot of rejection growing up. Where I lived, I'm from the inner city of Chicago. I've seen a lot of bad things, experienced a lot of bad things that just kind of weighed on me for almost my whole life. Being rejected in school, girls telling you no all the time, just little things like that. I mean, it's normal childhood kind of things, but then, watching gang fights happen in front of you. I seen a 6-year-old girl get shot off a swing while playing basketball, and that's just not a normal thing for people to see every day. I had some family problems. My birth father left us at a young age, really didn't want anything to do with us. I had a great upbringing by my stepdad, and he was really good to us. He stepped in as the father. I have a brother and sister, which I don't really talk to now. And growing up with that kind of thing, it just kind of weighed on you. And then I transitioned into my teenage years, going into like high school and stuff, not being part of the cool kids, always getting shunned and made fun of, kind of being bullied. A lot of people make jokes, you're a cop because you were bullied in high school. Okay, maybe, or is it that I want to help people, and then as you're doing that, you're going through high school, and then you don't know what you're going to do for the rest of your life. I didn't do well enough in school to transfer right into a college and get a good education, so I joined the military. In the military back, I don't know how it is now, but back when I joined the military in 1994 and went off to boot camp in 1995. They beat you down. I mean, they demoralized you. They said anything and everything possibly bad to you that you can imagine. And then they try and build you back up with this machismo courage type thing that would, you would think it would make you stronger. But everything that was said before, possibly some of it could have been true, and they don't know that. They're just saying things. And that weighs on you too, being away from your family all the time in the military, that takes a toll. And I got married young. My first marriage I was 21 years old, and I had a daughter, and we were married, and that didn't last because I was gone a lot. And then while I was gone, my wife decided to move on with somebody else, so that marriage ended. I stayed in the military for 6 years, 5 years, 10 months really is what it was. Saw some pretty bad things in the military. You talk to other people, They see all that combat stuff and whatever, and then you find out your friends die, and you see that, that kind of things happen, whether you were there or not with them. That takes a toll on you too, and you're just supposed to, they had this you gotta suck it up. You got to move on from that. You don't have time to think about that. You have to keep going. You can't stop. You can't stop and grieve. You can't stop and think about it. You have to keep moving and forget all that other stuff. But it just doesn't work that way. Even my early years in the police department, you see some pretty horrific things, really, really bad things. And even then, you're just supposed to keep moving. It's supposed to not be real to you. And I don't know if I've been lucky or unlucky enough in my police career to see the bad things that I've seen. And all that plays a really big toll on you. And, it cost me 2 more marriages after that. I'm divorced 3 times. It's sad. It's very sad for that. That all that stuff just weighs on you and it brings you down. I started coming to work and hoping things bad would happen to me, or I'd be working a traffic accident or at a scene or something and a car would hit me. You just kind of start hoping these things happen. And if you ever seen dark cells in older jails and asylums, you'll see nail marks and scratch marks on the wall. That's what all of my walls looked like. I was scratching and scratching, but I wasn't going anywhere. So I thought, why not? I'm done. I can't do anything for anybody else anymore. I don't care about myself. I care about everybody else. I try and make everybody else happy, and I fail myself. So it was July of 2019, not so long ago. Everything just hit me all at one time. I had a I guess a personal incident that kind of was that straw that just demolished me. It was my own doing, of course, and I have nobody to blame but myself. But that was what was going to be the end of me. At that point, I started realizing how many bad things and bad decisions and stuff that have happened throughout my life, and it just I don't know, something stopped me. I actually pulled my duty weapon, and I was gonna shoot myself, and something, I don't know what, stopped me, and I made a phone call. So I went to a place in Utah called the Chateau, and I was there for 27 days, and I've learned a lot of things. I learned that my trauma started back when I was young, and I realized that's when it started. And through this help and everything that I got, I was able to piece my life together and actually make sense of it all. It was August 8th of 2019. We had this workshop, and that's when I realized, I am somebody. I can do this. I am somebody. I'm gonna be great. Life's gonna be awesome. That day on, I've told myself every single day, today's gonna be better than yesterday. And I'm glad. I'm glad I did that. It saddens me now on how bad I allowed myself to get, and I was too afraid to ask for help. I didn't want help because I wanted somebody to pity me. I wanted help because I wanted to be a father to my kids. I wanted to be a grandfather to my granddaughter. I just want to live life and give what I have to give, because whatever mission I have here is not done. And I think that's what happened. A power greater than myself told me, ask for help. Don't be afraid anymore. You need to ask for help. But I spent 27 days in Utah. It was beautiful. I learned how to manage my stress better. I learned how to not waste energy on the little things that we waste energy on every day. And it's amazing how much people they waste so much of their energy on stuff that really doesn't matter.
Like what?
I mean, little things. The car in front of you is going 2 miles below the speed limit. Some people get so angry at that. Now, I'm guilty of this also, being angry at the driver that's in the left lane going 2 miles slower. But, I just kind of let it go. Oh well, I'm gonna get around them, whoever it is, and I'm gonna keep going forward. I realized I can't live in yesterday.
Right.
I can't go out in the parking lot and ask you to run across the parking lot and hold your belt. You'll be running, but you're not going anywhere. I can't live like that. I can't do anything about yesterday. I can't change anything that's happened. Tomorrow's not promised. All I have is right now. So I have to embrace what I have right now. And that's what I learned to do.
So how do you deal with stress differently now?
So I have a new motto that goes along with that. And it's so simple and easy to do. And it's accept everything and expect nothing. Things are stressful. They're going to happen. You have to accept that. But once you accept it, it's easier to let it go and to keep moving. You can't live life with expectations because then you set yourself up for disappointment. And that's what we do with ourselves all the time. People are wired to set themselves up to fail. And I don't know how that happens or where that happens in our lifespan, but it happens. We always have these expectations and these high bars that we set for ourselves and unachievable goals. And, if you just lower the bar just a little bit and set a more achievable goal, once you set that goal and you make that goal, then you can go a step up. It's got to be a stepping process. It can't be all or nothing, and a lot of people really think that it's either success or failure. Well, what happens to the progress or digress? Either one. I mean, we can move forward by taking these steps. And when we take these steps moving forward, then we're more apt to achieve our goal. And if we're positive about it and accepting of whatever's in our way, if we accept it, it's okay. We can get through it. Then you'll move forward. We tend to numb our feelings and get cold at certain things and kind of turn a blind eye to certain things. And some of the traumatic events that we see in our life, not even just as a police officer, but as a person in our life. You watch the news and you see the things that are going on in the news. That has an effect on people, whether they believe it or not. That affects people. And we can put a patch on it. That patch is gonna leak. Your Band-Aid's gonna fall off. Nobody's perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect life. We live in a wave of happiness and sadness. Happiness is good, but it's a moment in time. Sadness and anger, that's a moment in time. We need to strive for contentment. Contentment's that place right in the middle between happiness and anger and sadness. It's that line in the middle, and if you're not content with your life, you're never going to be either one of those. You're going to be somewhere well below that wave. And that's where that depression is. That's where that absolute stress is. That's where you start looking for a permanent solution to temporary problems. And it's okay. Those mistakes, they can be fixed. Your life can be plentiful. It can be exciting. It can be fun. You can enjoy it. Even after you think you hit the bottom.
What would you say to someone who may be feeling like they're on the bottom right now?
You're not alone. People are not alone. There's 1,000 of people just like you and me out there that are struggling with the same thing we're struggling with. We are not special. We're not by ourselves. And there's 1,000 people asking for help. There's 2,000 people not asking for help. And we need to change that. We need to offer the help. We need to have that handout for somebody. Hey, do you need help? Talk to me. One thing I would do when I was on the road with my guys is I would debrief the guys. And I think that's really how you change that culture, is in leadership and in leadership training. You need to put your people's health at the top of the list, because without healthy employees, you're not going to have good production. And that goes for everywhere, not just police work, not fire work, not first responders, nothing. That goes for everything. You can debrief current events. All right, guys, we know what's going on in the news right now. Let's not let that set us back. Let's be a model and move forward on how we can implement the change. And I really think, our department does a lot of that. Just with this alone.
Anything else?
I would just say that you're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. And you really do. You have to accept all of it. You have to take it for what it is. Take those experiences, the good experiences along with the bad experiences. Let the good outweigh the bad, though. Think positively all the time. Try and think of the positive of everything. If you can find one positive out of a negative, you're good to go. One thing that I make sure that I do now is I look for solutions and for things that I'm gonna be victorious in. Something I'm gonna win. I know I'm gonna win. You tell yourself 21 days straight, today's better than yesterday. I'm gonna do better today. You start believing that. And once you believe in yourself, you can do almost anything you want. But you have to understand that it takes steps, and there's going to be stress, and there's going to be some setbacks. You fall down, you get up. It's okay. Just keep moving. And if you have to ask for help along the way, that's good too, because there's always somebody whose hand is going to be strong enough to pull you through whatever it is you're going through, whether it be a religious thing or a friend or a counselor or therapist or whatever you have. There's people out there that are going to help you through everything. And that's how I deal with stress now. When I love to talk about everything now. I was so quiet before, and I secluded myself from my family. I wouldn't go to family events. I wouldn't go to anything. I wouldn't engage with people. I want to be by myself, and that's when you start knowing that you're in this dark place. You're in a place you don't want to be, and nobody wants you there either, because you're not nice. You put on the clown makeup, go outside, smile for when you have to go out, but nobody knows what's going on inside. But you start realizing yourself that, well, my life sucks. That's kind of what you start thinking is, oh, my life's horrible. But is it? Or are you making it that way? And that's what we tend to do as humans. We make our lives miserable because that's a choice. I believe that's a choice. Sure, bad things happen. Absolutely, to everybody. Bad things happen. And you have to... I have another motto that I go by. It's own it, eat it, leave it. If you make a mistake, own that mistake. Eat it. Whatever comes out of it, whatever the repercussions are for it. And then just leave it alone. Move on. Pretend it never happened. You'll always be reminded that it happened by somebody, but that's okay. That's just your motivation to not do it, make another mistake. It's your motivation to keep going. And that's the biggest thing that I can tell people is don't ever stop. Don't ever quit. Quitting doesn't do any good for anybody. I almost quit, and I almost paid my life for it by my own hand because I was not brave enough to ask for help. It's a very courageous thing to do, is to ask for help. It's not showing weakness. You're not weaker than anybody else. You're not less macho than anybody else. You're not a baby or whatever to ask for help. Everybody needs help. at some point in their life. It's no different than you asking your friends to help you move. It's the same thing. I need to move this couch. You can't do it by yourself. You got to ask somebody, so they're going to come help you. Well, why don't you do that for your mind, for your brain, for your health, for your mental state, to keep moving, to make sure that you can drive that moving truck to your next destination?